Value. One of the definitions of value is what's important in life. I got to give a shout out to my client, Brandon, because he was one of the clients that actually showed me my value and how important I was, not only to his life, but how important value is. And it has to be as a businessman in my life. At the time, being in the shop, I wound up losing like 39 clients or 40 clients in one walk. And at the same time, I was doing construction and carpentry work, and I even talk about, that aspect of things too at some point. But like I lost all my clients in one walk, and it was just like, man, what the hell am I about to do? Where am I about to go? And this was like my second time having to start over, being that I'm from Memphis. I had to, I moved to Atlanta, and I had to give up all my clients. And at this time, like he was like, look, man, I just paid for a house call, and I would have to cut his son hair, and his son was my first client, and he wound up becoming my client like right after that. But over time, we built a rapport, and one particular time, I brought my audio recorder, and I started my podcast More Than a Haircut at his mom's house, which I always give him credit for that because that was valuable and that was important for me to say that because he saw value in what I do as a barber, and not only as a barber, but when I was selling paintings for $15, and when I was doing music and everything that I was doing to get to, what I was striving to get to, just showing them how you can get, man, a $5 box of chicken at the time. When I'm like, man, the struggle was definitely real at the time. So I was just thankful, to him and what he was bringing to the table. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like I also at the time when I was doing construction, I had got into it with the guy that he wasn't the owner, but he was the manager, and it wasn't per se my personal fault. It was the fact that how he was setting things up, where he was just like, he told my homie to do the particular job that I normally do on a regular basis, which in hindsight is 2020. It was a setup for me to lose that job because I know they didn't want to pay me no more. So yeah, it was fucked up, but it is what it is. So, in that space, and when it comes to value, like I'm saying, the dude wound up firing me, and he came and asked me like, why wasn't I doing the job that my homie had? He dedicated my homie to do the job, and it was just like, man, I'm not finna go for this shit today. I ain't, I just wasn't. I just had enough because I'm like, I'm doing. When I normally do the job, it's no problems. But when you ask somebody else, and now you coming to me wondering why things weren't right, it wasn't my fault. So we had at it. I wound up, losing that job and having to rely on a barber. And where I said I had that one client, and that one client over time, it just it turned into two clients, and it turned into three clients, and it turned into even more clients. So, man, one thing about it, those people that are valuable in your life, hang on to them, show appreciation. And then also like with him, acknowledging my value, it made me pour into myself and understand like I am valuable, I am important, and man, what I read, what I'm studying, what I'm putting together it holds weight. So don't just push it off as if it's nothing. I appreciate you.